a deck like Jesse's won't give him time to stumble. He can board out something like Eternal Witness for a land, which is slow and clunky and might not get the job done.
I mean, even a Bojuka Bog could potentially shrink a Tarmogoyf.
Sure, yeah, that's true. Especially since no sorceries in Roy's deck, only Chain Lightnings from Jesse, so if he can get rid of Jesse's Chain Lightning, could shrink that. Interesting to note, not even one Tarmogoyf in Roy Beatty's Green Sun Zenith deck.
That's not uncommon.
Yeah.
I know that the other deck that's in the top 8 that's playing Maverick Fire Maverick, is running one Tarmogoyf. Most of them choose not to go that direction.
Yeah, most people are saying Scavenging Ooze is better in a deck like this. It just grows bigger than Tarmogoyf faster. So Jesse's still shuffling up, and he will be on the draw for Game 3. Roy will be on the play this time, for the first time in the match. So they draw their openers. And Roy going back for 6. Jesse doesn't look happy about his either.
You can see Jesse slightly shaking in the seat. One thing that a lot of people do when they're trying their beginning tell reads is say, oh, he's nervous, he's nervous. So if you see someone like Patrick Chapin, when he plays, often shakes a little bit. Don't imagine that that means someone is nervous. Actually, the shaking usually is an indication that someone's excited.
Right. Players will often try and pretend they don't want to keep the tank, sigh, keep. Usually either means they're really weak or they have the nuts.
Yeah. Now, obviously, once you start getting into the Princess Bride style game of leveling on this, it becomes endless. But that first level of analysis, the correct way to analyze someone shaking if they aren't aware that you're reading them is that's excitement.
Yeah, I think you're right. So Roy shuffles up. Hopefully we'll draw a little better on a 6, and it looks like he's good. So uses a fetch land. Grabbing a Savannah.
Savannah. No. Not a Green Sun Zenith. Nope, a Mom.
Okay, pretty good too.
Now the thing that's kind of exciting about Roy's deck on the play, between Mom, Green Sun Zenith for 0, and Noble Hierarch, there's a lot of times where he essentially demands, remove my creature now.
And wow,
Path to exile.
And
he's got to do it, but now that means Roy has been accelerated into a potential turn 2 3-mana play.
Right.
Like imagine Knight of the Reliquary hits right now, particularly with a fetch land. That would be potentially it.
That would be really scary. So Jesse with a Price of Progress in his hand, probably part of the reasoning behind his getting basics these past few games. So Noble Hierarch.
Does he not have the next mana? He doesn't.
He does. He has a Green Sun Zenith too. A little surprised he didn't play it there.
Fetch land. Fetching. He could go and get a dual land here, but will he? He has not been doing that. I think he'll get the dual land in this case, because having a Plains, there aren't very many spells his Plains actually casts.
Right. He needs that dual land, and especially with Roy missing a land drop. He doesn't need the basic because he knows Roy would have played his... Oh, but...
Ugh.
Forest.
Yikes. This means that he won't be able to cast a burn spell unless he lays another land down.
Right.
But now, the thing is if Roy has the Wasteland, well, then he still won't be able to cast red spells anymore. So, Sylvan Library. One of my favorite cards.
Yep. Ooh.
Oh, okay, reading that card won't do you any good, Roy. That card has been errated so many times that no card that has been printed of Sylvan Library actually has the correct text anymore.
Right. Like so many cards from that era. Green
Suns for 2.
2. What do you think he'll go for here? Maybe a Scavenging Ooze?
At 2?
Scrape Ranger. Okay.
I think he'll go for Scrib Ranger.
Yeah. Oh, wow, you are a prophet. Nostra Sullivan here.
Now this actually means that he will be able to accelerate his mana with the Noble Hierarch, return a forest, untap the Noble Hierarch, have 2 more mana again immediately.
Right. Not to mention it's a creature that can carry an equipment that has flying, which could be good later. So Mother of Runes, and this looks like an attack for 1. Dropping Jesse to 18. So Jesse will, not Sylvan Library, will draw a card. Uses his fetch land. And now goes to grab a mountain.
Unfortunately, I looked away from the screen to cough for a second, and I didn't get to see how Jesse used his Sylvan. Would I be sad, or...?
He actually didn't use the Sylvan Library. He just drew a card for his turn.
Oh.
Played his fetch land and cracked it.
Now, Sylvan Library, classically one of the most powerful cards in powerful formats. Here's a reminder die he has given himself to not ever do that again.
We will not do it again this game, probably.
Now, for me, I haven't played Sylvan in a while. There's a Bolt there for Mother of Runes, partly because Jace takes up a lot of the role that Sylvan Library used to. Here's a Tarmogoyf.
And that appears to be a creature, instant land, 3/4 Tarmogoyf. Roy drawing Horizon Canopy for his turn. He has a Punishing Fire in his hand, so if he ever gets a Grove, he'll be in very good shape.
Two mana. Ooze. What does that do? Well, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Jesse will have to kill that immediately, or that will get really out of hand. We'll shrink his Tarmogoyf.
I don't know that he has to kill it immediately, honestly. If he can find a path, Sylvan helps find paths.
That's true.
You know.
Yeah.
He will have to kill it pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah. And attacks for 2 with the Scrib Ranger.
2? How did you get in for 2?
Exalted.
Oh, Exalted. Draw. Okay. Then Sylvan. Okay. That was almost good. He could have looked at the first card before going with the Sylvan.
So Jesse sees Kurt Ape and 2 other cards, one of which he draws, pays no life, Lightning Helix.
If he doesn't have a fetch land in his hand, he should have taken 4 damage there.
Dig a little deeper next turn.
Yeah. How many creatures are in all yards?
Looks like 1 Mother of Runes, and that's it. So Jesse baiting the Scavenging Ooze.
In response,
Jesse,
kill it.
no.
Kill it in response. Kill it in response.
So Jesse says okay. Dropping Tarmogoyf to 2/3. Now, if Jesse responded, that Scavenging Ooze would be dead.
We have a word from our runner on the floor that Bant has won versus Death and Taxes. That's Adam Kai versus Josh Bergoa.
So you were right in that sense. Adam Kai won.
Players in the top 4 of the draft open. Number 2, please report to the draft area.
And Jesse just says go. Roy doesn't use Scavenging Ooze end of turn because he knows exactly what Jesse's plan was there. And Jesse Lightning Helix says Roy won't be able to grow that ooze because there are no creatures in the graveyards.
It's very good luck there for Jesse McConaughey.
Right. Attacks for 2 with Scrib Ranger.
Now remember, last turn I said Jesse should have taken 4. If there was anything at all reasonable in there, he definitely should have taken 4. But if it was weak, he should have taken the best of the next 2 weak cards, just so he could have more new cards to look at with Sylvan.
Right.
And we get a tap, untap, relay for a grand total so far of 3 mana. Might be more in a moment. 2 mana, 3/4 mana, 5 mana.
Taking 1 from Horizon Canopy.
Green Sun Zenith for 4.
For 4 could this be a Thrun?
It might be a Thrun. Oh boy.
That would be trouble.
Oh boy.
Jesse thinking about a possible response. Not sure what, with 1 basic forest available.
Maybe he's trying to bluff Pact of the Titan.
Oh, we're having a judge step in. Might have been a problem with the scavenging ooze.
The other one was a path, he's saying.
I think maybe what it was is that the Tarmogoyf shrunk and they didn't realize it. Because the scavenging ooze removed
That makes
the
sense.
only creature.
For those of you who are just joining us, this is the final game of the quarterfinal match between Roy Beatty playing Fire Maverick with Punishing Fire, and Jesse McConahie playing a very traditional zoo deck. Right now we're in a small judge call as we wait to find out, I'm guessing, as was just conjectured by Zach Hall, that the Tarmogoyf did 1 more damage than it should have, but we're unraveling that now.
Head judge trying to get to the bottom of it as we speak. Yep, it looks like it is Tarmogoyf's power toughness. That die on it is probably the confusion. Stayed at 3.
Now, one of the things we were talking about before, perhaps, I think you and I were talking about, is whether having an incorrect number on a die is a sign of miscommunication. And I think that if it is considered a sign of miscommunication, whether or not there's like a caution or a warning, perhaps.
Right. So yeah, Goyf was 1 smaller when it hit last turn. That was exactly what it was, so Roy should be at 1 more life.
But I think that what's continuing to happen here now is the question of, is there a caution or a warning?
Right, and was it intentional? Which,
Right.
pretty clearly it wasn't. But they just want to make sure so there's no foul play, shady business, anything like that. It's like the judge issuing a verdict here. Roy doesn't look happy about it. I'm not sure how it would go against him, though, as it's Jesse's Tarmogoyf. So it looks like it's been resolved one way or the other. We'll find out exactly what happened for you.
Okay, too complicated to rewind.
Oh.
I think what might have been the case is Roy was like, well, I would have done something differently if I had known that the Tarmogoyf was only so small.
Right. But
Thrun.
the last troll.
You know, he's an okay troll, but he's not great.
I would say he's one of the best trolls.
No.
Well,
Okay.
Tom Martell is probably the best troll.
Oh,
But
if you're going to go there, then I can think of better trolls. Okay, what do we got there? I can't quite see. I think it's a Curdape, a Lightning Helix, and something.
can't quite tell. Definitely saw Curdape in there.
Lean it down a little bit. Give us a pocket cam here, Jesse. and take 4. Take 4. Take 4.
Nope, just takes 1 card there. Still has no shuffle effect.
This is Necro Hut, my friend. you need to pay life for cards.
So Jesse's sitting on what looks to be a Loam Lion, a Lightning Helix, a Price of Progress, and a 4th card. Roy Beatty at 17, so Jesse's got a long way to go before that Price of Progress is lethal.
The thing that makes Sylvan Library better than Sensei's Divining Top is that you can take more than 1 card.
But only if you want to. Jesse's content with his 1 card a turn.
Bah.
And it looks like one spell a turn.
Be greedy, Jesse.
That basic plains and basic forest, both of those are really messing with Jesse's ability to deploy all of his cards. He couldn't, for example, cast one of those creatures and Lightning Helix if he wanted to.
Okay, what was that?
That looks like an Aven Mind Sensor.
That is not a terrible card against Jesse, honestly, because it can really stymie the fetch lands that Jesse really needs to make his mana work.
Right.
And for Jesse to use an actual removal on it, that's a real use of resources.
It is, for just a 2/1 flyer. So 2 more from Scrib Ranger, pecking Jesse down to 14. And Noble Hierarch looks to be tapping. Forest is tapping.
2 mana. It's untapping the Noble Hierarch, returning the Forest with the Scrib Ranger's ability. Relays the Forest, 3 mana. Lays Aven Mind Sensor. What does that card do?
Well, Jesse, simply prevents your ability to get more land. He does still get to shuffle the deck, though, for some library purposes.
Yes. Or, look,
Right.
etc.
And then shuffle.
1, 2, 3... Okay, what do we got? Path? No, that's a Loam Lion. Might be a Path.
Could be a Windswept Heath, which he puts on the bottom.
Well, Windswept Heath, he knows what 2 of the top cards are.
Right. So it looks like he takes the Loam Lion. I would have rather seen him take the fetch land there. If he was only going to take
He does
one.
have a Helix in his hand. I would like him to have taken the fetch land and
the card.
And the card.
Right.
And then kill... I mean, what is that Loam Lion doing? It's not doing anything. If he helixes that Aven Mind Sensor, gains back for the 3 of the life that he loses to the 4th, has the fetch land, he'll have 3 new cards that he can look at next turn.
Right, with which to find more Lightning Helixes.
Is that a Price of Progress in his hand?
It is.
Price of Progress is not nearly as good when the lands that are out are Scrib Ranger, returnable, and a Horizon Canopy.
Right. Savannah gets easily returned by Scrib Ranger. Roy Beatty definitely probably clued in to why Jesse was getting so many basic lands in the past 2 games.
And goodbye, Horizon.
And now we're down to 0 lands that can be priced. So Roy draws a Savannah.
Oh, back up. Now remember, the Scrib Ranger can return 1 forest on any turn.
Right. And it seems like the only reason Jesse is still in this game is because Roy is lacking red mana.
There we go. Are we going to attack for 5 with Thrun? Do it. Do it.
Roy knows he has to deplete Jesse's life total, or that Sylvan could provide advantage if he ever chooses to use it.
If I were Roy, I wouldn't even care anymore because I don't think Jesse's going to do it.
Right. Blick. Loam Lion jumps in the way.
And then he can say, go. Okay, Jesse. We might have to start talking a little bit quieter. It's near the end of the day here, and there's almost no one in between us and the tent where the feature match is taking place. Even though that's across the room, you'd be surprised how voices can carry once there's no one in a large hall.
Right.
Okay.
So on 3, let's shout Jesse. What do you think?
Don't lose that number. Come on. No, that's not the right number. 2 is the correct number. 2 cards.
Instead, he just takes 1, replacing the die. And I am not sure how Jesse's going to break through that Thrawn and army of creatures here.
Now, Roy is at 17 life. I mean, even laying that that 3rd land that can hit with Price, he's still so far away from being able to kill Roy.
Right. So Jesse putting himself into Edict mode here, chump blocking the Thrawn every turn. It's only going to take a couple more turns before he has no creatures. Jesse looks at his top cards. The Curdape's still floating in there. Takes 1, the Lightning Helix.
Every successive turn that Jesse doesn't take the damage, it's actually less good for him to take the damage.
Right. So soon it will be correct not to take the damage.
Yeah.
Punishing Fire, you.
Oh, boy.
That can't be good.
Oh.
It was almost like he
Top
knew
decks,
it was
there's
there.
a Grove there.
So,
Another chumping Grove. At least Jesse can gain life every once in a while.
right. Lightning Helix toward Roy's face. Roy thinks about it, takes 3, going to 14. Jesse gains 3, going to 15.
Will Roy remember that he can return the Punishing Fire? Nope. Okay, now take 2 cards, Jesse. Take 2 cards. The Windswept Heath, which he thinks of as not particularly good. I think there might be another land on top that is a dual land, though.
Ooh. So if the 3rd card down is a land, he'll be forced to take the Windswept Heath. Shuffle away for 3 new cards.
Casts another Kurdape.
There are only so many of those left.
What's your plan, Jesse? One of the things you have to look at when you're playing Magic is you have to look at what are the next several turns going to do. You can't take a snapshot of the game and then make a decision, and then come back to the game a moment later, take a snapshot and make a decision.
Right. So another of the two Punishing Fires.
Punish,
Wow.
punish.
Tarmogoyf is punished.
Oh, boy. Gain a life, Jesse.
So Jesse up to 16 and says go. Run the last troll. Going to attack, along with the 2 flyers. So 7 total instead of 5. And we'll see if Jesse blocks. Nope, can't block that. That is flying. So chooses not to chump block the Thrun. So just take 7, goes to 9. Oh, is that 4? That's 4 cards. 1 back. There we go. So looks at the top 3. Sees Windswept Heath, that same land, and an unknown 3rd card.
Word just in, Tony Chu, victorious, 2-0. Stoneblade defeating Goblins, 2-0.
So we were both wrong about that.
This also just in, David Bauer with Rug Delver, winning in 3 games over Fire Maverick.
And we were wrong about that.
Yeah.
So this top 4 is shaping up to be different than we thought.
Well, I got 1 right. And if this one wins, if Roy wins, I'll have 2 right.
I think I'm going to have 0 right.
Batting 50-50.
So Jesse takes the Plateau over the Windswept Heath.
Now, he could have gotten the Windswept Heath, found the Plateau, had a whole bunch of new cards to look at.
Yep, Jesse probably a little unfamiliar with Sylvan Library. Seems a little new to Legacy. And now he's in his main phase, contemplating an attack.
If he attacks, all that has to happen is a forest gets returned, Thrun untaps, gobbles down a Kurdape. Roy is basically just waiting to see if anything can go wrong for him here. He has his opponent's deck list. The worst thing that could possibly happen is if Jesse McConaughey has 2 Price of Progresses in his hand, and then top decks a burn spell for the kill.
Right. Well, 2 Price of Progresses would actually be lethal, wouldn't it?
Not quite, because remember, Roy can return a forest.
Right.
So it would be 12 damage.
Oh, that's a basic forest.
That's a basic
The
forest.
white border tricked me. Path to Exile. Well, there's the shuffle effect.
Hey, you're welcome, says says Roy. Here you go.
Just kind of gaining 1.
Lightning Helix, you, Roy?
Down to 11. And Kurdape?
And now remember, you can search. You can search, Jesse. There might not be anything left in your deck But you were allowed to fail to find it.
Oh,
Come on,
nope,
Jesse.
does not search.
There you go. Are you gonna search? Are you gonna search? Are you gonna search?
No,
search.
oh.
Search.
I think he's asking the judge if he can search, gets the yes, and there we go. There's the shuffle. He will be able to dig a little deeper to price of progress.
Thank you, Jesse.
So, fails to find a basic land. There are none left, but more importantly, gets that shuffle. Now, Roy doesn't know it. Roy he thinks he has this locked up, but there's one price of progress floating around in Jesse's deck that could be drawn. And now Roy looks like he's thinking about the danger, going to just start picking up lands. Oh, no, just untapping lands.
In they come.
7, dropping Jesse to 6.
Now Jesse needs another Helix and...
Or that price of progress.
The price won't do it anymore, because the price won't kill him.
Well, he's at 11 now from that Lightning Helix.
I understand, but it's not enough. Punishing fire, because Roy has Jesse dead on the next turn.
Price of progress deals 2 for each non-basic, yes?
Oh, wow. It does deal 2 for each non-basic. There's only 4 out. And Roy returns a basic forest instead of a dual land.
Wow.
This actually does give Jesse an out. So if, for the sake of argument, if Jesse has Price of Progress and Lightning Helix here, or Price of Progress and a burn spell, he can win.
Doesn't he have Price of Progress in his hand?
I don't think so.
I might be wrong about that. So Jesse, on his last turn, Lightning Bolts Roy. In response, Price of Progress. That's the game. Jesse McConaughey wins. Roy forgot about Price of Progress, was not picking up his forests.
He picked up a basic forest instead of a dual land.
Roy got a little overconfident,
Wow.
and Jesse took advantage of that with Price of Progress as ace in the hole.
Oh, boy.
So Jesse McConaughey ekes one out against Roy Beatty. Congratulations,
That
Jesse,
was
to the top 4.
Awesome. Oh, now this is one of the reasons why I really, really like Price of Progress.
It's